We're down to the final four, or should I say five? 4 or 5. Pretty much we're down to Hercules, Island Boy, Go Hard, and who's the other? Rerun. That's the final four. Who will win? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. I'll give you my opinions. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here or you're not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button below and help me get to 1,000 followers. We're so close. Also, like this video so it can be shared throughout the YouTube community, and comment and join the conversation so I can hear your thoughts and opinions on the episode as well as my commentary for this review, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and do what we do best and deep dive right into the episode, which opens up with the paramedics and the ambulance showing up to the house. And at first I'm like, oh no, what's happened? What's going on? And apparently we see Ding-a-ling, he's sitting there, he's kind of holding his side. He tells the paramedics that his side has been hurting him really bad for the last few days. And they whisk him away in the ambulance. And of course I hope he gets well, but at the same time I'm thinking, y'all really couldn't have ran this boy down the street to the hospital? We gotta rack up a $5,000 hospital bill to bring the ambulance a block down the road. Did anybody else wonder that? Or was that just me? Like, I hope he's okay. I really do. And I hope it all works out for him. He says that it's his kidneys. He says his kidneys are, he hopes his kidneys are okay. So I don't know what it could be. I hope it's nothing too bad. So Ray and Bobby are talking about how Ding-a-ling is now in the hospital. Ray tells a story. Did y'all hear the story that Ray told Bobby? I thought that was pretty crazy about how after he had COVID, he was feeling pretty bad. He wasn't feeling his best. He wasn't feeling his best. He went to lay down, and he said he woke up 2 months later. 2 months later in a hospital. I'm like, holy shit. So evidently he must have been in a coma, I'm assuming. I don't know. Let's see. So with Ding-a-ling gone, we're down to the final four. And that's why I said, are we in the final four? Are we in the final five? I don't know. But with him gone, we're down to our final four. Rerun, Hercules, Island Boy, and Go Hard. The beginning of the episode has a little bit of filler. Of course, with just 4 guys left in the house, like I said last week, we're not going to have a lot of drama like we had at the beginning of the season and like we did in the middle of the season. Because it was crazy at once. I mean, they were throwing down in that house at one point. It was giving Bad Boys Club Miami all across the fucking board. But now it's just those 4 boys there, and the boys are just lounging around the house. They're talking to one another, seeing how each other feels about being the final 4, all that good stuff. Everybody's getting along for the most part. Hercules did y'all hear him bring up the idea of, why don't Bobby just choose all 4 of us and we be in a polyamorous relationship? And I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all see me doing this throughout the video. I got a slut mark, and I'm just not trying. I'm like, I told myself, God damn it, I gotta go on camera, and I can't just sit up here with a fucking hoodie on and ignore the fact of the matter, because these people, the viewers, are not stupid. They're gonna fucking know. They're gonna know. Y'all are gonna see it. But I'm not gonna let you see it as long as I can help it, okay? As long as I can help that. Because where I'm from, we're taught these are very shameful. If you know what I'm talking about. I don't even want to say the word. But if you know what I'm talking about, we're taught that these are very shameful. They're slutty. I call them slut marks. You might as well have a scarlet letter on your fucking shirt when you walk around. So it's going to be hoodies for me for like a week or 2. If anybody has anything I can do to get this off my neck, please comment below. I very much appreciate it. And don't be nosy, because I ain't telling y'all nothing. I'm gonna let y'all into my personal life as my subscribers grow. But as for now, we're sticking to reviews, okay? So back to the review. Now I can do this without looking crazy. So yeah, Hercules brings up the idea that maybe we all 4 should date and just be in a polyamorous relationship. And I'm like, hey, that's kind of hot now. All 4 of them, 5, all 5 of them just being in they can live in the mansion, and and he says it's safe to say by looking at all the guys around that Bobby likes tall men. And I'm like, we clocked that, y'all, from the get-go. By the way, Bobby was eliminating the boys. He eliminated the boys based off who is not tall, who's not masculine enough. Those were the ones who went first. So, of course, he likes tall guys. Y'all boys are late. Y'all are just now figuring that out. We've been figured it out. Bobby comes out there where the guys are, which is in a hot tub, and he sits and he's talking to them, and he tells them about the challenge that they have coming up, which is an act of love challenge where the boys have to come up with a date for him, come up with their own little date and show an act of service, an act of love. And one of the boys mentioned how diverse the Final Four were. And they really are as far as where they all come from. You've got Hercules, which is Canadian. He's got a Canadian. He's got a Bahamian, which is Island Boy. He's got a Latino, which is Go Hard. And he's got Rerun, which is what? Just American, African American, whatever, however you want to call, whatever you want to call Rerun. Bobby's got a swirly Final Four of men. And then, as they're sitting there talking to Bobby, here goes Rerun and Island Boy, back and forth, back and forth. But I gotta say, the girls were reading. The girls were reading, okay? Let me tell you what my note says here. So Rerun says, what language is he speaking? Because Island Boy's talking really fast, doing what Island Boy does. And he's got that thick accent. Oh, I can't really do it, but he's got that accent, that Bahamian accent. So Rerun's like, what language is he speaking? And Island Boy says, I have a degree, you don't. I have a degree, you don't. And Rerun says, I have a visa, you don't. I'm like, oh my gosh, the girls are reading. He was quick with it too. He was quick with it. Rerun says in his confessional that Island Boy don't even know what state he's in. I'm like, oh gosh. Oh my gosh, the shade of it all. So then we see Ray call in and check on Dingaling, who's in the hospital. Ray calls to check on him and see how he's doing. And I guess I'm just wondering at this point while watching, is he leaving the show? Is Dingaling coming back? Because let's say he does come back, would it be fair for him to come back and it's the final two and he gets to just kind of float to the final two without having to do any challenges? Is it going to work that way, or is he going to have to forfeit and be sent home? Because these challenges and these eliminations, they go on every day. It's not like traditional reality shows like Flavor of Love or anything like that, to where they stay for a few. They'll be there for they'll do a challenge and an elimination in 1 week. So they get all this footage in a week. So unlike this show, Bobby, I Love You, they may not have a bigger budget as some of these networks do, but it all works out because their filming schedule is much, much shorter. They can film a 14 episode series in 2 weeks. Does that make sense, y'all? So yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen with Dingaling. So we get to the challenges. And Island Boy is first with his challenge. And Island Boy does a sip and paint, which I thought was actually really interesting, romantic, and cute. And I'm like, damn, I see why he hasn't sent Island Boy home. I see, God, he's so toxic, but he knows all the right things to say. He's so fucking attractive. He's creative when it comes to his dates. Like, I see why Bobby doesn't want to send him home. I really do. Now, I thought it was going to be like a sip. Like, my idea of a sip and paint would have been me and you sitting in front of an easel. We both paint something. We could paint a nude guy or whatever, and nude girl. I'm not discriminating. Whatever we really wanted to bring. And then we'd sip wine together and talk and paint. But apparently, Island Boy had the idea of painting Bobby. So I was like, can you really have one-on-one intimacy? Because he wanted to paint Bobby's silhouette of his shape. So Bobby had to turn around facing away from Island Boy for him to paint the back of his silhouette. And I'm like, you really can't be intimate in a date like that if I'm facing away from you. Like, I could see if he wanted to paint him from the front. Okay, I can sit here and we can talk and, but nevertheless, the date was still romantic. I think that he did a really good job with his creativity and what he chose to do. He didn't just say, let's go out to dinner. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. I have a really strong feeling that Island Boy is going to win. I truly and honestly do. I have a feeling he's going to win. And as long as he doesn't fuck up, you know, with these last few days, as long as we don't find out that he's been texting somebody on production trying to fuck and suck with them or whatever Island Boy does on the low, I see him winning this. He just has to lay low these next few days, right? And even though a lot of these guys have come here just to be on TV, you can tell that there's a genuine connection between Bobby and Island Boy. Because for us as the viewers, me and you at home, us that are reality TV connoisseurs who watch this shit every day, who have a doctorate in reality TV, we know bullshit when we see it, right? But with Bobby and Island Boy, there's just a connection and chemistry there. So I feel like he's going to win this. Go Hard, he's next for his date. And, you know, he's got a charcuterie board. He's got some wine, some champagne. So if it was me, I would instantly be impressed because I love some meat and some cheese. Then you throw in a little wine there. Okay, we've got a cute and simple date. Doesn't have to be extra over the top, but it's just enough. You know what I'm saying? And at first, their date is a little awkward. You can tell. Bobby even notices the nervousness from Go Hard. You can tell he's a little bit nervous. But I was thinking maybe it has to do with the tension that Bobby and Go Hard had just an episode or two ago. I mean, they were in each other's face 2 episodes ago. So maybe it's a little awkward, like, you know, we just got into it a few days ago. And we could all feel it. At home, watching, we could all feel it. Bobby even mentions that Go Hard is nervous, but one of the things he said that I didn't agree with was that Go Hard gets too nervous around him, and sometimes that worries him because with him being a public figure, would he be able to be around his lifestyle without getting nervous? Is that what he says? Yeah, but my thing is, he says Go Hard gets too nervous around him for his lifestyle, and that he's caught up in the hype of who Bobby is as a public figure. But what if he's just nervous because of what just happened between you two? He doesn't know what's gonna, you know, y'all just got into it a couple of days ago. Also, maybe he's just not used to being around cameras. You know, he's been in this house 10, 12 days. Yes, some may think, well, he should be used to it by now. But not everybody is comfortable, especially you're on a date. You're on a date with someone. That's supposed to be a private, you know, moment between two people. Usually there's not a camera crew right there. And we all know Zeus has a crew of 50 people. So it's probably 50 people sitting there watching. Hell, I'd be a little bit nervous too. That's not a reason to not want to pursue someone because they get nervous around you. Okay, if you guys linked up 10 different times and every time he was nervous, okay, I could see that. But give it a break. Wait till the cameras go away and then see how he is. Now, I was rooting for you, Go Hard. I was rooting for you throughout this whole date and throughout this whole show. And I still am rooting for you, but you lost me when Bobby asks him, if you were going to take me anywhere in the world, or if you could take me somewhere romantic, where would it be? So I'm anxiously on the edge of my seat waiting to hear what he says. And he going to say DC. DC. And even Bobby was like, DC. And in his confessional, he's like, of all the places you could choose, Bora Bora, Hawaii, Paris, Bali, New Zealand, Australia, I don't know, you choose DC? I mean, hell, they in Miami, and Miami's more romantic than DC. No shade to my DC followers, okay? If you're from DC, I'm not shading you. We're talking about romance, right? If he would have said, where's a fun city that you can take me to where we can have fun, go out to clubs, have some good dinner, maybe even learn about history, DC would have been the place. You know what I'm saying? Where's a good gay nightlife for black young gay men? DC would have been a perfect answer for that. But romance, Go Hard. You can tell your nerves got to you on that one. Like, really? I mean, hell, y'all are close to Key West and the Bahamas. That would have worked. Key West would have went on a romantic weekend getaway to Key West. Perfect, right? And I just feel like, personally, Go Hard is going to probably be the first to go home. Either him or Hercules, which we'll get into why I think Hercules is going to go home. But Go Hard, I really feel like it's probably going to be the next to go. he to me feels like low-hanging fruit for Bobby. I don't mean that in any shade to Go Hard. I'm just saying from Bobby's perspective, I feel like he's the low-hanging fruit of the four guys that are left. Um, you can just tell. You can just tell. So Bobby asks Go Hard who he thinks that's left would be perfect for him other than himself. And this is where I'm like, okay, this is some reverse psychology shit that Bobby pulled on the boys. And these boys are they're so naive to what he's doing. Bobby says, who do you think should win other than you? He asks Go Hard, who do you think should win other than you? And Go Hard says, not because he's just my best friend in the house, but I feel like Island Boy should win. And of course, Bobby wants to hear that. He's feeling Island Boy the most. So for him to hear that Go Hard thinks that he should win if he doesn't choose himself, Go Hard's looking real good right about this time. And Go Hard also tells Bobby, Rerun, Hercules, they're not here for you. I'm like, oh shit. So they get thrown under the bus a little bit. But I have to agree with Go Hard on that. Hercules is not here for him. I feel like this is Hercules' way of figuring out who he is. He's coming into the terms with his sexuality. So he's not really even confident on having a relationship with a man right now. I think he's just now dipping his toe into the gay pond and getting used to it. So I wouldn't want to be with somebody who's not confident in themselves completely. Rerun is there for TV. It's obvious. I have nothing against him. He's one of my favorites. I think he's attractive. He's sexy. I would ride him like a cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, backwards, sideways, up, down, side to side. But he's there for TV and opportunity. And if he hadn't have been with Jeffree Star, I might give him a pass. But you cannot tell me that you was just in love and with Jeffree Star and just so attracted to him and you had this emotional connection. It was a come up. It was a moment for you. You want to be in the limelight. You want to be famous. You want to be rich. And that's okay. A lot of us do want to be rich and famous. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's why I'm calling a spade with Rerun and saying that he's here for TV. I think he genuinely cares for Bobby. I think that Bobby's a good friend to him. Bobby's somebody that he can land in Miami, smash, pass, and be done with it. A friend with benefits. Somebody he can hit the red carpet with, or he can make a cameo with on Love and Hip Hop. It's opportunistic for a Rerun. So I agree with Go Hard there. Now, Hercules' date, or not Hercules, I'm sorry, Rerun's, speaking of him, his date is next. And he sort of does the same as Go Hard with the rose petals and the wine. And, they're out by the pool this time instead of in the house. And the only difference between Go Hard and Rerun's date was that Rerun actually put a little bit of more thought into it. And he decided to rub Bobby down with some oil and give him a massage. Now, sorry, y'all, I just had a blank thought, or, brain fart. If it wasn't for Island Boy, I would say Rerun would probably win. And if it was me, I would probably choose Rerun. Not gonna lie. If Island Boy wasn't there. But Island Boy's got Rerun beat by just a hair because, like I said, I feel like he's there for TV. Does anybody else feel that way? I need to know from y'all at home. Do y'all feel like Rerun genuinely wants Bobby back? Or do you feel like he's there for TV, a check, and a come up? Now, Rerun, listen, these boys, Rerun and Go Hard, they are handing the competition over to Island Boy on a silver platter because it gets brought, Bobby brings up again kind of, who he thinks is there for him and who he thinks isn't. And even though Rerun and Island Boy have had issues in the past, Rerun says, I think if anybody else is here for you other than myself, it's Island Boy. And I'm like, y'all are just handing this competition over to this boy. Like, seriously, this is what Bobby wants to hear. Y'all think Island Boy gonna sit up in the date and tell Bobby, I think Rerun and Go Hard are here for you more than, or aside from me? Hell no, he's not. Island Boy's playing it smart. Now, Island Boy also, or Rerun also says that Island Boy, um, he says that about Island Boy being the only other one there besides him that wants Bobby, because he says that every time Bobby is with Island Boy, the rest of the boys are scared to approach them. Now, we've noticed throughout the season who's had the most physical contact and been all over Bobby? Island Boy, and it seemed to work. Rerun, I would say, is in second as far as being touchy, feely, being what's the word I'm looking for? Not really compassionate, but affectionate. There we go. Now, they pretty much told Bobby that Island Boy should win this. In my opinion, Rerun and Go Hard told Bobby that Island Boy should win over us. That's just my opinion. Now, Rerun also threw Island Boy under the bus at the same time and said, now look, he may be here for you he may be here for you more than them other two, but he's also broke as fuck. Rerun said, we go to the strip club, we throwing bread in there, we making it rain. Island Boy picking the money up off the floor. He's broke as fuck and he ain't gonna be able to do nothing for you. Oh, also, when I was cuddling with you last night, I know y'all were cuddling the night before and the pillows stank. He also smells bad. And I'm like, oh my God, he just slaughtering this boy right now. Low-key slaughtering him. Like, whoo. Bobby said, well, Rerun was cuddling with him and when Rerun brings up the cuddling, I'm sorry, y'all, I can't speak tonight. When Rerun brings up that they were cuddling, Bobby also says, and you were crying too. And I'm like, oh shit, man. Oh shit. Let me find out that Rerun maybe really does have feelings for Bobby, because there were no cameras around when this happened. So maybe he does have, maybe it's more than TV. Y'all think it's more than just TV? Or do you think he was just putting it on thick for Bobby? Because even Rerun himself has admitted in his confessionals that he's toxic. Just saying, Bobby. But I will say that his massage that he was giving Bobby with the oil looked really good. I was just expecting a little right here and a little smack on the butt, but he was getting into it. And I was like, I want a massage from Rerun. Can I pay for that? Can I come to Miami for that? Now, one of the things I noticed, because Bobby kind of got semi-naked through most of these dates, he took his robe off and he had his little thongs on. Now, I want to say, for the ladies who have gotten booty jobs or are contemplating getting a booty job, take note from Bobby, okay? Now, his butt is not, like, you can still tell it's fake, but it's not like abnormally basketball big. You know what I'm saying? It's not like ant legs, ant booty big. It's not like 2 toothpicks and a trash bag big. Like abnormal, when you see somebody with a butt job walk by, and you like Kim Kardashian and Khloe. When we see them on TV, their butt jobs look so bad. It look like two little toothpicks and 2 big trash bags. No shade, Khloe and Kim. I love y'all, but y'all need to take them booty sizes down a few. Like Bobby's, I feel like he probably got the smallest implant you could get, and it just added some plump to it. Again, you can still, I'm not saying his booty job is just like, oh my God, it looks so real. He looks like he has a natural fat ass. But it's not abnormally big, in my opinion. Now, Hercules' date is last. And his date is, he's got a bath water running. He's got a bath made, bubbles in the bath, the roses, the champagne, the usual things that the date has. But at least he had a little, at least he went a little bit more creative than Rerun and Go Hard with just champagne and something to eat. He ran a bath. So that's romantic, right? So I give him points for that. Got to give him his points for that. I wasn't expecting it because it wasn't like everybody else's. So I was expecting him to do like everybody else. I'm sorry. Now, Bobby says all he can think about is the fact that Hercules has a girlfriend. And how could he not? How could he not? Bobby brings up the idea of the girlfriend coming and being with him. And Hercules says, no, Hercules brings up the idea to Bobby of, what if I brought I forgot how they worded it, but it was pretty much being said like, what if the girlfriend comes into the picture with us? And then Hercules says, oh, I'm just playing. No, you were not playing. If you could have your cake and eat it too and have both of them, you would. Which Bobby says he's not sharing his man. And he says, now this is one thing I peeped that I was like, damn, at least he's brutally honest, but he looks stupid right now. Bobby says, how do I know you're not going to go out here and have me looking stupid and foolish in these streets? And Hercules says, I can't make you any promises. The fuck? That would have been my cue to say, okay, you know what? I don't even need you to come to elimination. You can go. But then I thought about it and I'm like, well, do I want him to lie to me? At least he's being honest. But that's why I say I don't think Hercules is really confident in his sexuality and in himself right now. And he doesn't know what he wants to do. This is an experiment for him. And I don't think Bobby should choose him. In my opinion, he should go home before Go Hard. But will Bobby be able to see past the physicality of Hercules, the masculinity of Hercules, over what he has with Go Hard? We'll have to just wait and see. But in my opinion, it was stupid. Like, this big motherfucker is stupid. He just dumb. First of all, Hercules, you admitted twice on camera that you were in love with your ex and still have feelings for her. Now you're promising Bobby, you're saying, I can't make you any promises that I won't have you out here looking stupid and foolish. Well, why the fuck should I keep you here? If you don't know what you're doing, why should I keep you here? Hercules, one thing I peeped, he said, Bobby, you need to start getting more sleep. You never sleep. And Bobby was like, I sleep. No, I do sleep. Why are you not sleeping, Bobby? We get to the elimination, and the episode ends without them showing us who goes home. So we're going to have to wait for that for next week. Now, the sneak peek for next week kind of gives away who the final two is. Did y'all peep game on that one? If you go back and watch the sneak peek, Bobby says, I can't believe I chose Tweedledee and Tweedledum for my final two. Now, we all know who Tweedledee and Tweedledum is, Rerun and Island Boy. So I'm like, y'all pretty much gave that away without thinking that you were giving it away. But we all know who that is. And listen, there's no spark between Go Hard and Bobby. There's just not. There's no spark between Go Hard and Bobby. Hercules can't leave his girlfriend alone, or he can't get rid of the feelings that he has for her, nor does he know who he is. Truly, does he know who he is? So, at the end of the day, Bobby is most attracted to Island Boy and Rerun. So, that just makes sense for it to be the final two. We don't even need to see the rest of the episode. For next week, we can just go ahead and zip to final two because we all know who it's going to be. And look, Island Boy, I have to give it to Island Boy because he has been the force multiplier of this show. Now, for y'all that don't know what the force multiplier is, and I gotta wrap this video up, but the force multiplier is the standout of the show, the star of the show, the HBIC, the queen bee, the one that everybody loves to watch. And there's a reason I feel like producers wanted to keep Island Boy in this competition show the entire time. Y'all don't think when Bobby wanted to send Island Boy home earlier in the season for texting with the handler, y'all don't think producers didn't say, well, you know, he's really good TV. We may need to keep him around for a few more weeks. Of course, that's what these producers do. They help influence decisions on shows like these. So Island Boy was very significant for Zeus with this show. He had the biggest personality, so it makes sense for him to go to the end. He's played his role very well. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate all your love and support. Also, like the video so it can be shared throughout the YouTube community and more people can see it. And also, don't forget to join the conversation and comment below, letting me know what you thought of this episode. How do you feel about the final four? Who do you think is going to be in the final two? Do you think it's going to be Rerun and Island Boy? Or do you think Hercules and Go Hard have a chance of making it to the final two? What's going on with Ding-a-ling? Is Ding-a-ling going to come back into the competition, or do you think he's forfeited since he's gone into the hospital? There's still a few episodes left. It's getting down to the wire. I want to hear your thoughts on this episode. I love you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See you.